decided to make a list of my top 10 horror movies of all time. Now, this is a personal list. It is not what I think are the 10 best movies, because you'll find as I go through these, I think some of these movies lower on the list are better than others, but it's a totally personal list. Let's just get right into it. Number 10, Freddy vs. Jason. First on our list is a horror movie which isn't scary in the slightest, but it holds a special place in my heart. This is my childhood's version of taking two toys and smashing them together, having them battle it out. Freddy vs. Jason was exactly that. While the main characters or protagonists aren't exactly anything to write home about, who cares? This is Freddy vs. Jason, not your classic style slasher film. Instead of just having these two behemoths of the industry battle it out, there's a story involved. Freddy's powerful when people fear him, but people won't fear him if they've forgotten him. Freddy, being the cerebral lunatic he is, uses and manipulates Jason into killing people on Elm Street. People think it's Freddy, but it's Jason. People would think Freddy was the culprit, and the fear, thus Freddy's power, would grow. We do get an epic battle, and oddly enough, someone to root for. Is this movie ridiculous? Yes. Is it awesome? Hell yes. And at number 9 is a bit of a hybrid horror comedy movie. My perspective, I'd say it's 80% horror, 20% comedy. From the crew that brought you the Super Troopers and Beer Fest, the boys take a crack at a horror movie. Out of the movies I've seen for them, it's one of their least known projects, but I would say every horror fan should watch this at least once. The entire film takes place on a vacation island where people start dying. It's a murder mystery, a whodunit, with some comedy sprinkled in. Amongst that whodunit, there's a story of a cursed island legend who, well, I'll let you find out for yourself. Bill Paxton's an absolute legend, playing the role of Coconut Pete, who's a Jimmy Buffett knockoff, but don't say that to his face. He made Pina Colada Burg well before Margaritaville even released. Okay, back to the scary. The kills are fun. The movie is even more fun and worth a watch anytime you're in for a slasher on the lighter side. Okay, and at number 8, The Purge. I know, you probably just rolled your eyes because they've made, 6 of them at this point. And this is the first Purge, not to be confused with the movie titled The First Purge. This is actually the first Purge in the series. The first movie was excellent. I'd assume out there you know the story by now, but it's set in America, where crime, including murder, is completely illegal for 24 hours. The first Purge follows a man who sells home reinforcement equipment, which is important in this universe. He and his family are targeted by a group trying to get into his property. The group is odd and creepy and disturbing. There's a swing set scene that really sticks with you. While the movie's ending leaves a whole lot to be desired, the journey itself is worth the ride, and a movie I often revisit. If the Purge were real, would you participate? Would you stay home? Would you vacation to Canada? Let me know in the comments. And at number 7, the newest entry on the list belongs to 2022's The Black Phone, another Ethan Hawke entry. It's a brilliant throwback to a kidnapper-style movie based on a kidnapper called The Grabber from the 1970s. This is an adaptation of a short story. The Grabber kidnaps kids, oddly enough, brings them to his basement and murders them. This aspect is the most intriguing portion of the movie, when our main protagonist is taken. The writer took the already horrific aspect of child abduction and sprinkles in a supernatural storyline. I didn't expect this part of the movie to work, but it does. Nearly to perfection, to be honest. While it's not a movie with a huge message, it does touch on, well, I guess that's a bad choice of words, abuse and other rather uncomfortable subjects. The movie is uneasy and scary. I know it's cliche, but this is the definition of an edge-of-your-seat thriller. And we do have a review up on the channel if you want to check that out. I'll leave the link in the comments. At number 6, I think this is the scariest horror movie, period. This is the original Alien movie. Came out before most of us were born, but even then most of us have seen it, which gives you an idea of the longevity of this movie. Set in a future where space travel is common, a crew intercepts a distress signal from a planet during their journey back home. What they do find is countless eggs. The parasites birthed from the eggs use other hosts to birth their species. A horrific hell demon, a killing machine which terrorizes the crew. The film is horrific on multiple levels. Not only are the protagonists stalked, but they have no idea how to combat or even slow down the enemy. Seemingly, their only chance is escape. The hopeless feeling coupled with the unknown are two ingredients for this masterpiece. Alien is a timeless film. Sigourney Weaver is excellent. No matter how many times I watch it, it never gets old. And at number 5, John Carpenter's iconic horror movie, Halloween. Universally recognized as one of the greatest slasher movies of all time. Not only is this a great movie, but a cult classic. All slasher movies since have attempted to replicate the perfection of the first Halloween movie. While some have come close, most have completely missed the mark. In doing so, they remind us just to rewatch the first Halloween. 8 sequels and 2 rebooted franchises with their own subsequent sequels, and Halloween 1978 is still the king of the mountain. With a minuscule budget of $325,000, Halloween was a huge financial success as well, pulling in over $70 million worldwide at the box office, alone starting one of the most successful and recognizable franchises of all time. Alright, top 4 territory. Friday the 13th, 2009. I don't think the movie's technically better than our previous entry, but I do enjoy it more. On very rare occasions, a remake is better than the original. This is one of them. Friday the 13th, 2009 takes the best parts of the Friday series and shaves off the unwanted sections. The great aspects they kept: Jason is still an unstoppable killing force. He's hunting the usual youngsters in the woods. There's a kill variety to die for. Sorry about that. And some of the heroes are so irritating you don't mind seeing them die. Unlike previous entries into the Friday series, we have some really good acting with a spotlight on our 2 main protagonists. The filmmakers understood the task at hand. Jason is a horror icon at this point. You can't make him look ridiculous, and the movie has to be scary. While the latter isn't pants-shittingly scary, it's a great slasher, and Jason's more badass than ever. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten a sequel. I'd say we should go that route, but I don't trust today's writers to nail it like they did in 2009. We have a classic, and at number 3, Silence of the Lambs. If you've never seen this movie, don't worry, I won't spoil it. But do yourself a favor and take the time for our 3rd entry on the list. Jodie Foster plays Clarice, a rookie detective who requires the help of a serial killer to catch another. Enter Sir Anthony Hopkins as the notorious Hannibal Lecter. He's not on screen for very long, but every minute he is, he's a disturbing psychological assassin whose face will haunt your dreams. Lecter is a brilliant serial killer who is also a cannibal. They throw Clarice to the big bad wolf to pick his brain to hunt down Buffalo Bill. Clarice's innocence coupled with Lecter's manipulation leave the audience wondering who's in control. What are Lecter's motives? Is this lunatic gonna break out and kill her? It's a mind freak of a movie that leaves you thinking. Typically movies like this aren't rewatchable, but that's not the case here. Nearly every time I watch Silence of the Lambs, I pick up something I've never noticed or even understood fully on previous watches. It's a psychological thriller horror movie and a must-watch, not just for horror fans, but for anyone. I guess I really like Ethan Hawke and Scott Derrickson movies. This is Hawke's 3rd entry and Derrickson's 2nd. This movie is the reason they teamed up again for The Black Phone. My number 2 favorite horror movie of all time is Sinister. Ethan Hawke's character is a true crime novelist who moves with his family into a new home. No shot this home is haunted by some sort of supernatural entity, right? Well, the style of movie has been done before and done since. A family haunting isn't exactly a fresh idea, so what makes this one so good? Sinister takes this style and perfects it. The movie is truly scary and not in a loud banjo music jump scary type of way. As the family, Hawke in particular, uncover the mystery of exactly what is going on, the backstory of the ghost itself is disturbing. There's nothing settling about Sinister. The acting is great and the story is better. And at number 1, in my opinion, the greatest slasher movie of all time. Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson put together a masterclass of horror. In 1996, we were almost completely burnt out on slasher films. We ran the Halloween, Friday, and Elm Street movies into the ground with a shameless stack of sequels. The idea coming from the movie Wes Craven's New Nightmare, originally meant to be a parody, Scream, was so unique. The 2nd and 3rd level self-awareness with the characters treating the movie as though they're in the movie. Scream was next level meta, before meta was meta. From the horrifying intro scene killing one of the characters on the poster, to the killer's reveal at the end of the movie, Scream is horror movie perfection. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, consider Wes Craven the most flattered man ever. That's my list. Those are my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Let me know what your favorite horror movies are in the comments. Let me know what you think about mine. Again, personal list. I don't think these are the 10 best movies, but they're my 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Let us know if you'd like more lists like this, anything along those lines. Like, share, all that good stuff. Until then, catch you guys later.